Governor Whitmer and the challenger Tudor Dixon squaring off tonight in their first debate. A lot of punches thrown tonight between the two as they challenge each other's records and positions on the hot-button issues.
It is the first of two debates scheduled before Election Day. Mara McDonald live in Grand Rapids tonight. Mara, did either candidate move the needle, you think?
Well, Kimberly, let me put it to you this way. If anybody thought that going into tonight that this was going to be some sort of kinder, gentler debate because both parties have women helming the ticket for the first time in this state, well, they were sorely mistaken.
For many of you, it's the first time you're hearing from me directly.
Dixon's campaign has not been able to fundraise and is at a serious cash disadvantage versus Governor Whitmer. Tonight was an opportunity to showcase herself, and she did, extremely well prepared and on the attack for the entire hour.
In her first answer, she's already being dishonest. This is obviously going to be a theme for the night.
I think it's really ironic when Mrs. Dixon stands here and says that she will accept the vote, the will of the people. This is a candidate who still denies the outcome of the 2020 election. This is a candidate who will not pledge to accept the outcome of the November 8th election.
Back and forth all night long, lobbing haymakers.
What a debacle to have $8.5 billion fraudulently sent out. Now I've got people bringing bills from the state up to me, begging me to forgive the unemployment that she's trying to get back.
She is too dangerous and too out of touch to be trusted with protecting our kids. She'll put the Second Amendment before second graders every time. We cannot let that happen.
Because we know the governor came out and said that she supports the spirit of defund the police. In fact, we know that when we were all locked down, she went out and marched with folks who held up signs that said defund the police.
My opponent is long on rhetoric and short on facts, and that's okay. I got to tell you, as a former prosecutor, I have sat with our law enforcement. I have worked arm in arm with them. And that's why the budgets that I have written have been focused on supporting.
Back here live, Tudor Dixon clearly came in tonight feeling the pressure as if her campaign depended on it. In many ways, it did. She turned in a strong performance tonight, as did the governor. It's going to be interesting to see whether this moves the needle for her and whether those GOP donors who so far have not come to her aid will now return. We're live in Grand Rapids tonight. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
Mara, we also have to wonder about the changing priorities and issues in this field because a new Free Press poll just came out today shows us that the economy and inflation has now replaced abortion in the minds of voters as issue number one, and that's probably better news for Tudor Dixon, don't you think?
Well, yes, I think it is better news for Tudor Dixon. I mean, the reality is, can the governor of the state of Michigan make a change in inflation that is, engulfing the whole world? No. Are there some policy decisions that could be made here to ease the sting?
Yeah.
You bet there could. And here is where historically things always land, Devin. It almost doesn't matter whether the governor can be responsible for any of this, because typically the party that is in power when you have an economic situation like we have right now takes it on the chin. It's just that simple.
That's how it works. And especially, I've been reminding people that a second-term election is generally a referendum on the incumbent. And that's kind of what we'll be most likely watching forward here as we get close to just 3 weeks away from the election. All right, Mara.